Hi, in this video I will share with you how habits are formed. I read this book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and he goes into the psychology and the neurology of our brain and goes into so much detail about how habits are formed. So in this quick video we will go about describing the habit loop, which the author has coined as how habits are formed. Habits could be, have you been in a situation where at certain time in the day you want to drink coffee or you want to drink tea, right? You just have to drink it. Or if there are notifications from Facebook or any other social messaging website that you get compelled, or subconsciously or consciously you want to check what that notification is. Or you want to watch videos either on Netflix or YouTube, and it happens consciously or unconsciously. For some people, they have to exercise. These are all habits. Some habits are good for us that we consciously make. Some habits also happen unconsciously. So now let's take a look at how habits are formed. Our brain gets a series of inputs or triggers from external world, be it notification, be it time of the day when you have to exercise, or time of the day when you have to drink coffee, or whatever. These are external triggers, that things happening outside. It could be certain events that happen, anything outside that triggers, that you either see or you eat or you hear or you smell. These are all external triggers that come to us from our senses to our brain. When they reach our brain, we instruct our brain by us. We make a conscious decision in the very beginning phase to follow a routine. Like when I get a notification, I choose that I will look at that notification and then see what is in the notification. And I get a reward. I get a reward of maybe distraction, which releases, based on some studies, dopamine in our brain, which makes us feel good. So every trigger, we choose to follow a routine to get a reward. If it's exercise, early in the morning, for some people, they have to go to exercise. So they follow the routine of exercise. And the reward that they get is they feel good. They feel energized. Habit of brushing our teeth. We wake up, we brush our teeth. That's a routine we follow, and the reward is we feel good. Our mouth feels fresh, our teeth bright, etc. So when we follow these routine because of certain cues and the rewards that we get, this trio of trigger, routine, reward is what the author calls the habit loop. When this habit loop is repeated over many times, our brains neurologically changes to expect that reward. So initially it is conscious, but according to author, eventually, if I understand correctly, he says that it becomes unconscious. And at some point, they're automatic. And the reason I think it makes sense is because your brain is trying to reduce the effort it takes to do the same amount of work. It has developed a pattern of doing certain things so that you can do more things. Like, for example, when you're learning how to drive at the very beginning, it was so hard. You had to turn on the car, you had to look back, you have to look on the sides. It used to take forever for you to just drive the first few meters or first few miles. But afterwards it becomes easier because for the brain it's no longer taxing. You've developed the habit through repetition, and the brain just gets it. You don't have to put in effort. So the brain does this to reduce effort. But at the same time, the brain expects we automatically start expecting certain rewards. And if those rewards which happens because of certain cravings that are built in, don't manifest, then that reward, instead of that reward, we could also get angry. Like if someone snatches away our phone when we get a notification, we really get angry. Sometimes, I'm not saying everyone, but we may have a tendency to get angry, or if we don't check social media maybe for some time, there's a potential of feeling depressed or disappointed or not socially connected. So, or lack of distractions. So all of these things eventually we expect. And if we don't get those rewards, then it becomes a problem. So in this video, we looked at the habit loop, where there are three things: a trigger from external world. Initially, we make choices to follow certain routine, and then we get a reward. These could be choices of what breakfast you eat, what stores you go shopping. Pretty much, according to the author, 40% of the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis, and for some people it's even more, is because of habit. So being aware of these triggers, being aware of these routines that we follow, being aware of the rewards that we expect is very, very important to understand, like, how is your brain wired and what are the ramifications if certain rewards are taken out, and what happens to the human personality. We should look at that in the next video. Thanks.